Alrighty. We are live. Just wait for everybody to get in here. We got a big night tonight, previewing Ole Miss, the King of the South. Be on there. Waiting on Chris, and then we'll get going. How's everybody doing tonight? Ole Miss.
What's up, dude?
What's going on?
Not much.
All right, we are live.
Wait, what?
We are live.
Oh, okay.
Just waiting for listeners to build up. Maybe
All right.
share this in the Facebook group. Make sure people know where
who'd you post it out to?
everything.
Nice.
Everything that we have.
How do we I don't understand how we share it from here.
Share what?
Wooderson. Like the actual link.
To the YouTube?
Just in general, yeah. Like if we want to put it like on my Twitter or we want to do anything like that.
The Twitter, it should be already on your Twitter. It is.
Okay.
All right, we got some people starting to show up here. We got Booze in the chat. Always here.
Up.
My man never fails.
Let's see here. What are we going to talk about today?
Talk about Ole Miss with old Ben Mintz, the King of the South.
Is that what his nickname? They call him King of the South?
King of the South. That's what Portnoy calls him.
Has Portnoy been to the South?
I think he lives in the South, actually.
There's no way.
Well, he lives in Miami.
Oh.
That's not really the South.
I'm in there like swimwear. Okay. I like that. It's game week, by the way.
It is. Florida State plays this weekend.
Duquesne.
The old Dukes. Is
that really what they're called?
I don't know.
Duquesne's Dukes?
I don't know. I made that up.
How fucking miserable is that person? Like, what were they going through? They're like, I don't fucking care. Just call them the Duquesne's Dukes. It doesn't matter. We're never going to win a game. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's like, I'm trying to think. Hold on. Let me see what the schedule is. Did you see the video of Scott Frost today?
Sliding down the...
It's just like so unnecessarily hilarious.
All right. That's pretty crazy. All right, everybody get in the chat. 10 people. We need people chatting it up. Got a big guest tonight.
I feel like I should do my impression, but I don't know if it's very good right now. I haven't been working on it.
Probably wouldn't.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Hey, check out my shirt. You know who that is?
Hold on. Is that Ozuna?
No. I did not buy an Ozuna shirt.
Just wear it like right away. It's trending, dude. It's fucking topical.
No, it's the Braves rookie, Michael Harris. They call him Money Mike. Those are all dollar signs.
Sick.
Love that.
I feel like if I was a Braves fan, that'd be a really cool shirt.
Yeah, but you're not.
No. That's good. I mean, how are they doing? I saw that they played the Mets. Heard they put more hops in it.
They beat the Mets 3-4 and the Astros 2-3.
They beat the Astros?
Yeah. Just this past weekend.
We should talk dream week 1 or week 0 games. In like, because there's not any good games, technically. as you said.
Vandy, Hawaii, of course.
Right. Also, it's time to go over some betting stuff, dude. Like, I hope you understand that.
Love it. That's what we're
Did
made
you see
of.
what the Action Network put out? What the fuck is this?
No.
See what Action Network put out? They put out like the top 100 things to know about gambling, whatever, like or college football betting going into the season. It's awesome.
I'm gonna have to read that.
Yeah. We're gonna bring it up on here. There's some really interesting points, and also I have been dabbling into it with some of our video stuff. It's taking me forever to post, but what do you call it? There's like some really, really good. We got, first off, like DraftKings is doing a ridiculous promotion to kick off the year for anybody that's like new. Also, they
this is the 100 facts to know. Is that what you were talking about? Okay, I'll bring that up.
In the S&P rankings came out. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. I think it'd be fun to do some like dream week 0 scenarios, but like not like maybe not dream, but like I'm trying to think
but like semi-dream.
Like not night. Like what's a dry dream instead of like a wet dream? It's like a dry dream scenario of just. Well, I guess that's most dreams, right? It's just normal dreams.
I guess.
Super dry dream. We'll do super dry dream matchups for week 0. And when I say dry dream, I mean like literally not attractive at all, but also like would get some sort of interest. Like Vandy played UConn last year at one point. Which is, if that's not a fucking Hunger Games matchup, I don't know what is. It's just like one of you's got to go.
Who did Vandy? I hope Vandy won that.
They won by 3 on a last-second field goal.
That is, I mean,
tough.
SEC.
Let's see here. We got Duquesne. Oh, you guys are on ACC Network. I'm not gonna watch that. So Northwestern and Nebraska. I can't think
Northwestern
of
typically, and Northwestern is that the one? Is it in Ireland?
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, maybe that's why they're going there.
Get back to the roots. Northwestern was like in the Big Ten championship 2 years ago, and was like they had like I think their over under for win total this year is 4.
Yeah, they're bad.
Nebraska, this is probably obviously Scott Frost's like last opportunity. It's like, okay,
seriously, it's your last chance, like for real this time.
Bro, dude. For real, like this time we lose to Northwestern.
Yeah, here we go again.
You
he lost 9 games last year and kept his job. He lost 9 games all by single digits and kept his job because he lost by single digits.
Billy Daniels. Northwestern v. Nebraska is about as a dry dream as it gets.
Okay, let's see. Should we start with that? Billy gets it. Billy. Yeah. I still, there's not anything that's made me more uncomfortable, I think, this calendar year than hearing Florida fans say, Coach Billy. That is like, you remember the other guys when he's like, hey, Gene. He's like, no, call me Gene. I'm your captain. Call me captain. It's like, all right, Captain Gene. He's like, nope, just captain or Gene. It's fine. I'm not on a kid's show. Like, I mean,
he plays such
Coach
a good
Billy.
role in that movie.
What's that?
He plays such a good role in that movie.
Mike Keaton was the best part of that whole thing. The TLC lines were just incredible.
Shout out Dollar Bill Daniels, my guy.
Who's Dollar Bill Daniels?
Billy Daniels. Yeah, we call him Dollar Bill.
Okay, here's what I think we should talk about. Oregon's going to go to the Pac-12. I have a very hot take of how that's going to actually go.
Okay.
I think that because they're in the preliminary talks right now. Okay. Should we just get into that? Are we starting the show yet? Are we recording?
We didn't do the intro, but
do the fucking intro. Let's go. We gotta get shit together. We get 20 minutes to talk about actual things.
3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to the College Football Uncensored podcast, brought to you by Saturday Down South. I'm your host Tyler Huck, and with me, as always, what?
Why would you do like one long TikTok? Because I know it annoys you.
Okay. We're back. We're itching for games. There's games this weekend.
I'm itching for other reasons, but yeah. There are games.
We have broken down every angle in the Northwestern Nebraska game that you could possibly find, and we're going to present it to you live.
B word about this earlier. Like, yo, we're not talking about. Nobody wants to see these games. Your team is playing.
Yeah. How many people want to watch Florida State Duquesne? Honestly,
Duquesne?
outside of the fact that people are like maybe Florida State might lose that game.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
We did lose to Jacksonville State last year, so I guess anything is possible. Not this year, Chris. We're shooting for 8. Can we get to 8 wins this year?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, right? I mean, like, yeah, should be.
You don't know the schedule.
No, I don't care. I mean, it's the same every year. What's funny is it's gotten a little bit more difficult, but not. It's still the same teams from the 90s.
Yeah. You got LSU, which I think to Alabama is probably a nothing game this year. To us, they've probably got a lot more talent.
Mm-hmm.
We go on the road to Louisville, which is a very improved ball club. We got Clemson. We've got Miami at Miami, brand new Miami. This is the new Miami. And you're muted. And we got Florida at the end of the year. Let's be real. We lost to Wake last year pretty handily, so that's going to be a tough one for us.
I know he's lost to Wake.
Oh, it was interesting.
Inside.
No, I don't think people are looking forward to the Florida State Duquesne game.
No, but there's other teams. Here's the thing, Tyler. Your pessimistic attitude was not appreciated because it's week 0. It's game week. I'm not. Oh my God, the Vandy game starts at 10:30. Fuck.
10:30.
Look at you drinking some wine. I mean, you got to talk about a loaded slate here for games. Illinois and Wyoming. All of these sounds like every single matchup in week 0 sounds like if you shifted the Civil War like 90 degrees and it was like, oh my God, we got Illinois versus Wyoming, dude. Like the West versus the almost more West.
FAMU, North Carolina.
That would be.
That's exhilarating.
That's something.
Vandy, Hawaii, obviously.
I got some fun facts about that.
SEC, you do. All right, let's hear them.
We're just getting some gambling stuff. So Hawaii is, or I think it's Hawaii. I don't know. I haven't seen Johnny Tsunami in quite some time, but Hawaii is awful. They're awful. That's pretty much all I got to tell you.
How many wins? Terrible. Oh, so that's the angle.
That's
Hawaii
the whole.
Is just really bad.
Like the S&P rankings came out today, and I think like that's like a big deal for a lot of people because, well, one, they keep them a secret. Like they don't post them anywhere on the site. Like if you try to look them up anytime before this, I thought it was a glitch. It just takes you to week 13 of last year's.
So they
just grow up, Peter Pan. Like let me see what I'm trying to look at right here.
Right.
Anyway, so the rankings came out. Hawaii is how you say awful in so many ways. And then so also I guess that who's the guy who's like he's like if Chip Kelly had a miniature, even shittier version of himself. Todd Graham or something like that. He was at Pitt and then like Arizona State for a minute and then so he's at Hawaii and as soon as he got there, everyone was like, I can't do this. You imagine being at Hawaii and then being like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I have to leave Hawaii because this guy's the worst.
Right. I mean, I've heard that. That's where my son Mike Norvell, that was his mentor.
Oh, what? Wait, who? Graham was?
Todd Graham.
Jesus.
Not really his mentor.
His same age?
He worked for Gus Malzahn as well.
Like a junior salesman associate or something? This is like a ridiculous. The age gap is not that significant. Anyway, so Hawaii, so S&P rankings, basically, it's Bill Connolly from ESPN who puts in this. It's not a projection. It's just a ranking of who he thinks like the best teams are, and it's based off of like 3 things, right? So it's based off of, let me see here. What is it? Let me make sure I don't mess this up.
It's like returning talent.
Returning production. So, and final rankings, which you can find at the bottom of this piece, he says, it's on ESPN. And that's from recent recruiting and recent history. How good have you been recently, and who do you have coming back? So how good are the players you have replacing the ones that you don't have coming back as well? So it's, a pretty good formula, and it seems like it's pretty accurate. I will say there were some surprises on here. Like Tennessee was top 10. Georgia and Bama are both in the top 5 on offense and defense in this ranking, which is fucking stupid. Auburn was top 25. They were 21st. Hawaii was, I think in terms of like returning production, maybe one of the lowest he said he'd ever seen.
Oh my God.
They're 130th. Oh, I'm sorry. Here are the 10 lowest returning production percentages I have ever recorded to date. 2022 Nevada and 2022 Hawaii. Both of them play this weekend.
Oh God. Okay. So
Yeah.
I think the win total for Vandy is 2.5.
Oh, it might be down to 2.5. Yeah.
So I was looking at their schedule. So they've got Hawaii this weekend. This could be something that we could root for. Like maybe we go in on the win total for Vandy over, and we say, okay, we need this one. This at Hawaii. If we don't get this, we are in real trouble here with the bet. The very next week, Elon feels like we could take down Elon for the Commodores, right?
I don't know if you can take down anyone. I don't know. Elon.
Here's the other one.
What's their mascot?
Then you got at Northern Illinois.
The Huskies? I've watched them beat Alabama.
We gotta take 3 of those, and we get the over.
Are we just a Vandy pod in September? So is that what our whole thing is?
We don't typically preview them, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna hop on the Vandy over win total this year, 2.5.
Okay, I like that.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
Okay. You know what we need to do this year is we need to keep track of our bets.
Yeah, we're going to. I kept pushing for us to get a free account with some money put in it, but they were like, "No, we're gonna pass on that." That's cool.
Don't trust the track record.
Yeah. All right. Here are some SEC notes, I guess, from this is from Action Network. So you have the article pulled up, right?
Yeah.
All right. Here you go. So Vanderbilt opens the season on the road in Hawaii. Since 2005, teams playing in their first game of the year on the road against Hawaii are 4-5 straight up, and they're 1-7-1 against the spread. Vandy's a 6.5 point favorite.
Yeah, I like that to be a close game. Vandy win.
Okay, I mean,
so maybe we do the season-long parlay of Vandy, Hawaii +6, Vandy over win total. We won't know.
Yeah,
we could be done first week, or we could sweat all year.
Patience. I love it. Okay, so. Oh, thanks, Dark Knight. Okay, so also there's some really good notes in here that I thought were first off, there's 100 notes, right? And there's some that like kind of seem obvious. There's like, here you go. So games featuring service academies. So 2 service academies, Army, Navy, and Air Force. They've gone 41-9 on the under since 2005. 41-9.
Well, okay, we need to remember that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Let's see here. There's another thing we heard this from about Mike Leach. Mike Leach has fared very well third-year starting quarterbacks. He's won at least 9 games in each of the 3 prior instances. This is my favorite one. This is kind of crazy. Brian Harsin is 22-41-1 against the second half spread. So when his team ends with a first half lead, he's the least profitable coach against the second half spread since 2013.
Interesting. So not necessarily that he loses every time; they just don't cover the second half spread.
He loses a lot. He did it all last year.
Okay,
like the end of last year. Kirby Smart, he is the most profitable team against the SEC or against the spread in the SEC since 2016. They are profiting 69.6% away from home, which is really good as well. Anyway, but there's a lot of first half lines in here I thought was really interesting. It's some really good stuff. So, all right.
I like this one. How about Napier? Comeback Kings, when trailing at the half, he's one of the top 5 most profitable coaches against the second half spread. So basically the opposite of Harsin.
Right.
12-3-1 against the spread in the second half when trailing at the half.
You talking about Coach Trilly?
Over the last 5 seasons, you would have made $840.
Dude, what?
Yeah. Put it in Bitcoin?
$200 right away.
Put it in Bitcoin, bro?
Okay, so we got 10 minutes before our guest comes on here, so we should talk about Oregon going to the Big Ten.
Yeah. That sounds like that's like, I don't know. I kind of felt like that was going to happen all along, though.
Yeah, for sure. But here's the thing. What I don't understand is they said they began talks. It was like a Mormon courtship. They're just going to see if they're a good fit for each other. So I mean, listen, considering who's involved, my least favorite state and the worst conference in the history of fucking man. They're going to probably talk about this for 5 years. No way they actually follow through with it. There's no way.
You're just talking about like recent history stuff.
There's like Oregon doesn't belong in the Pac-12. I mean, in the Big 12, Big 10, but they can't go to the Big 12.
Either this is USC, but here we are. This is a brand new ball game, dude. Where's Oregon going to go? If there's two, I mean, maybe Lanning builds them into like an SEC type team out west.
Are you getting emails from Dan Lanning?
Text messages. Why?
I'm getting like, I don't know how I'm on this list.
Oh no,
but I'm getting emails from Dan Lanning, and I swear to God, it's like every
wait, like
it
actually
can't really
him?
be him. No, it's not him. It's like, let me see here. Where's the most recent one?
You have anything incriminating?
There was a typo in today's.
Take down the program or something? That'd be sweet.
That somebody did that last year. They were like, "Hey, just so you know, this is what's going on with all these people committing to Oregon. They're leaving backpacks full of cash in the like down these homes in the South, and like, hey, did you pick up my backpack?" Which is a cool thing to say to a high school if you're in your 30s and 40s.
There's going to be a white unmarked truck pulling up to the high school.
Get in.
Get in. There's a backpack there for you with candy in it.
He 1,000% sent something this morning. It's not really him, but it's like he's like, "Am I going to see you at Outson, or am I going to see your at Outson Stadium this year?" And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Coach Danny?" All right, we'll go to the S&P rankings maybe after or something like that. But let's talk about these dry dream matchup scenarios. While I look for this email
from Dan Lanning.
Yeah, here it is. Hold on, I found it. Well, it's just so fucking weird. It says, "Will I see your in Outson Stadium this season?" Here, I'll just do that.
I'm pretty sure that might be like you might be getting like hacked.
Is this how my account gets hacked?
Yeah.
I'll be pretty upset.
That's probably why the StreamYard's going to end early tonight.
That's probably so. Once again, here we go. I'm gonna send it to you. Anyway.
No, don't send it to me. It's I don't want it.
No, I already clicked on it. You just have to sign. Like I already gave you your information, so you should be fine. What cleared social, by the way? All right. Dry dream matchups for week 0. I want to hear these in the comments too. Oh my god.
Just like the worst matchups, like Walker. Just the worst matchups you can think of that like we've been waiting all year and we'd still consider not watching, just as bad as it gets. Yeah. I mean, Nebraska Northwestern, it really is a great example.
We'll watch the shit out of that though.
Only because it's in Ireland though. And it might be just because it's the only game that there's a modicum of like 2 teams that you would ever consider watching.
Okay. Nebraska Northwestern is 2 things. One, it is one of the widest matchups you will see this season. That is like the exact moment when you're like shopping with your wife for like paint colors, and she's like, "What do you think? Do you think duck white or do you think eggshell white?" And you're like, "What? It's the same fucking thing."
Yeah.
And then so it's gonna be one of those. Also, they should 1,000% just make like a Michelle Branch white, and then and Vanessa Carlton white. Because
what about like Nevada, BC?
I would never. Yeah, I couldn't watch that.
Okay, that's a dry dream matchup.
Okay, so like UConn and Rutgers, which I feel like was probably
that was like a primetime matchup at some point. Remember when Rutgers and UConn were UConn was like in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, this decade I think.
Was that Dan Orlovsky?
Was he supposed to come on the pod?
I think so.
UConn and Marshall, Vandy Citadel. I'll probably watch the Vandy Citadel. So like, I'm trying to think here, like the worst, like because a lot of it has to do also with like the setup. Like, did you see the stadium they're playing in Hawaii?
No, is it not just like Hawaii Stadium?
That got demolished.
What? Like in a?
I knew you were gonna fucking say this. In a hurricane?
No, I was gonna say an earthquake, but.
No, the Rock he brought it down. He was like working out. It's pretty sick.
Georgia Tech and Oregon State. There you go.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Actually, I can't imagine being a bigger Georgia Tech fan that day.
Tulsa versus anyone.
See, I don't mind a Tulsa Friday night game.
I love when Mac starts and you're watching games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
It's the best. It's so good. Let's see here. Like Okay, so like a FIU, FAU, because you know there's gonna be like a fight that breaks out at some point for no fucking reason.
Oh, Willie Taggart. Willie Taggart.
I like
this
Vandy
vibes.
going to Hawaii.
Oh boy. Is everything okay over there, Chris? And he's muted. What? Definitely can't hear. Oh, there he is.
It's more fragile than I am. It's constantly UCF and USF. That's like a big rivalry.
Oh yeah, that's a great game. Actually, usually it's like a Thanksgiving game.
I'll tell you what. I've never watched a second of Arkansas, Missouri. That game sucks. That game fucking sucks. And I think part of it's because it still pisses me off that you don't have Arkansas LSU at the 2:30 post Thanksgiving game on CBS like you did for years and years and years. And then they forced this shit on us. That is awful. I'll tell you another game I've never watched. I shouldn't be admitting this. It's my job to cover them. A&M in South Carolina. I haven't watched a fucking second of that mess.
UCF's going to be lit with Plumlee this year. I could see him doing well.
Yeah.
They're actually recruiting at a pretty decent level. Like their recruits, they've got like a couple top 100 D linemen committed to them.
Yeah.
Now we'll see if it lasts.
Last dream job or dry dream.
Ooh, Idaho State versus UTEP.
Bingo.
That is
because it's not even the Vandals. It's not even in that dome.
It's Idaho Vandals, right?
Yeah.
So Idaho State. I don't even know what that is. The Onions?
You know what? Anything at Indiana, can't really deal with that.
Yeah. They've been okay. I mean, they have a pretty good coach.
I'm saying at Indiana.
Oh, just in the state in general?
Yeah. Like in that stadium. It's awful.
What's so bad about it, man? What do you got to get this Indiana Stadium?
There's no one fucking there. It's like I feel like there's very real stereotypes with every single stadium. Like okay, we talk about UConn and Rutgers. There's no fucking chance there's a bit of sunlight in that game at all. It's just the grayest gray imaginable.
Yep.
And then you have
I know we're talking week 0, but that just is like a classic like November 2nd matchup, noon.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gray as shit.
No, not noon.
It looks
It'd be like
so cold.
5. It's already dark. It's been dark for fucking hours for no reason. That would be pretty terrible. I think but Indiana, it's always sunny. There's clouds.
Illinois, that's a good one. Middle Tennessee versus Illinois.
Ooh, why the Middle Tennessee hate though? No, it was pretty good.
Go Blue Raiders.
TJ Finley is but they haven't announced yet, but he's been running with the ones at quarterback before we jump in with our guests. So Zach Calzada is a third string quarterback at Auburn.
Third?
Yeah.
Robbie Ashford's past him?
Robbie Ashford. His mom's been jumping in our spaces on Twitter recently.
Robbie Ashford's mom?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's good.
Super sweet lady. So Zach Calzada transferred out. You have to wonder if this is Jimmy Raines doing. Like he was like, listen, you're not going to start there. I want to stick it to Bama and just have a third string quarterback on our roster that's beating him.
Let's see. Mintz just liked my tweet, so we'll see. Maybe he's coming on here.
Is he definitely coming on here?
Before he gets on here, we got another 5-star review. Can I read it real fast?
Do it.
Great change of pace is the title. 5-star review. I first heard Marler on the Locked On Auburn podcast show from SEC Media Days this year. I had the worst headache of my life after listening to that show because I was laughing so hard. You had me at, quote, Auburn fans are too stupid to insult, end quote. I'm a lifelong Auburn fan and truer words have never been spoken. I feel like this guy might be trolling. All self-deprecation aside, I've been listening to y'all for the past month or so and can't get enough. It's great to hear a podcast that provides perspective from all across the college football landscape in a way that is entertaining and insightful. Keep up the good work. Scoot M.
I love that he said something.
He lives in the United
States
of America.
I think he's trolling. That was your immediate reaction, was to assume he was trolling.
No, when he said, I'm a lifelong Auburn fan, and truer words have never been spoken when you said they're too stupid to insult.
Listen, here's the thing. I'm going to say this last thing about Auburn because I've been high on them all offseason. You guys thought I was kidding when I said this. All of this shit about TJ Finley and people thinking that he's not going to be that good and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. This kid transferred in from another school. He sat the bench behind some overhyped white 5-star with Bo Nix. He drives a moped, and he just got arrested. All Perfect. The fucking ingredients just cooking in the pot right now. And then also, like, I'm not making this up. You know, the first scrimmage or the first practice that Needy was allowed to go to after his arrest, he was like 19 of 20. Just fucking lights out.
Of course. Do you expect anything
Auburn
less?
Natty coming in hot. Huh?
That honestly, if Auburn won the Natty this year, it'd be the most shocking thing I think I've ever seen in college football.
I'll tell you, if Mincy's not on here right now, let me get into this for a second because I did a whole deep dive on it yesterday and a couple days before that too. Auburn has had 6 seasons in the last 40 years of 11 wins or more. 4 of those 6 have come after Bama or Georgia has played for a national championship. They've had in the last Bama's had 7 national titles, I think, since like 92. Auburn has come back and won the SEC or had 11 wins the following year. 3 of those times. Like,
well, they didn't win last year though. So
what's that? No, Georgia did. Right. Also, every single coach they've had since Pat died, so the last like 6 coaches before them, each one by year 3 has at least played for a title, whether it be the SEC or whatever. They've all been ranked inside the top 10, besides Tuberville, because he didn't deserve it. And you had, I'm trying to think here. You had by the end of year 2, they had all had at least 9 games, gone to a bowl game, been ranked in the top 20, and beaten Bama. Every single one of them, no matter what happened in the first year. I mean, this is like, it's like destiny.
So you're calling? Are you like putting a line in the sand here? Like
Auburn's going to win 10 games. Auburn's going to absolutely win 10 games for no fucking reason. It's not going to be about talent. It's not going to be because Harson's coaching them boys up. Hold on, let me see if I got my notebook over here. You want to play this game? I do not have my notebook over here.
Okay. All right, good.
But like, no, like, I looked into this last night, like for a decent amount of time, and it was astonishing some of the shit that's like, I mean, it's kind of crazy. They all beat Bama by year 2. Every single one of them. Like, I mean, think about this. Terry Bowden, first year, he went 11-0. He'd never coached before. Chiswick.
Something to think about. Should we bring in our guest?
Is he here? Is he here? Yeah.
He is here.
I'll stop talking about Auburn at any point.
All right, there he is.
What's up, man?
Oh, what's up, guys? Thank y'all for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. So, for those that don't know, this is Ben Mintz from Barstool Sports. The King of the South is what we've seen now. So, we figured we'd have you on a Southern football show. You know?
Oh man, I'm thrilled to come on. I followed Saturday Down South for quite a while, so I really enjoy coming on and see you're wearing a Florida State hat. Am I going to see you in New Orleans in a couple weeks?
I'm trying to get down there. I found out that a lot of my friends, people I went to college with, are going. So I'm going to try to make it down for sure, man.
So I'm going to be doing that. Like the Barstool Sportsbook app launched in Louisiana in mid-February last year. Or it was actually the week. It was actually the week of the AFC Championship. They did a big push with Joe Burrow and Chase. So Megan Making Money and I are both going to be down there and doing some content in the Superdome for LSU Florida State. And I got like a 50-yard line, 10th row ticket. I'm pumped. So I think that's going to be an awesome game to kick the season off, man. Both those programs, obviously haven't been the last few years what, they traditionally are, but, their fan bases are pretty excited. The atmosphere should be great in the Dome. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen.
I think it's a must-win game for Norvell if he wants to have success long-term there. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. The LSU front, it's fascinating. I'm always juggling a funny dynamic because I worked for ESPN Baton Rouge before I got hired by Barstool, and I'm from Louisiana, so I'm pretty juiced into LSU program and know what's going on there. I think they're going to be better than people think. They crushed the transfer. They crushed the transfer portal, and we live in this day and age now where these rebuilds don't take as long when you get these just plug-and-play starters. And they got a lot of good guys in the secondary. They got talent at D-line. The receiving core looks really good. Their O-line is still, they've got FIU and East Tennessee State transfer, and the O-line's been real shaky for them the last couple of years. But I don't know. I think LSU's going to be a little better than people think.
I was surprised the line was so low.
It looks ratty. LSU being 2.5 at home, it kind of made me pause because I thought it'd be 3.5 or 4, but I don't know. I mean, LSU's been pretty damn bad the last couple of years, so I think maybe it's that. And Norvell, I know he had a pretty good recruiting class last year. I mean, obviously they had the disastrous start, but
because of Travis Hunter, you guys paid him $1 billion, right?
They act like Barstool threw all this money down. Like, come on. And plus, I mean, how long is he going to be? We'll see how long he's at Jackson State too.
Yeah,
who knows in the stage. But that's anyway. I had to comment on that because I saw your Florida State out.
Yeah. Dion is going to be our next coach, right?
I mean, well, y'all didn't want him last time.
I know.
I know he'd go there, and that's obviously his dream job. And he'd probably bring just a wall of transfers with him. But
Jesus.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's been fun to follow Dion with Barstool for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's talk Ole Miss. Obviously, awesome season last year, 10-3. Went to the Sugar Bowl. I think that was the first time they've ever won 10 regular season games.
It is, but that's a weird stat because they've only been playing 12 regular season games for not forever.
Sure.
So I mean, they've had, but I mean, it's a true stat though. No, I mean, I guess you can't. The numbers don't lie. The Eli year in 2003, they were 9-3 in the regular season because they lost to Memphis, and then in the 2000, they ended up losing 3. The good 2014 year too, even though they were having such a great year and they kind of fell off a little bit. So,
well, the Sugar Bowl has been around for a while, and that's just the second time they'd been since the 1960s to the Sugar Bowl. So, before we talk about this season, looking back at the first 2 seasons under Kiffin, what do you think about the job he's done? Not only reviving the team on the field, but just getting the fans in a totally different mindset. I just feel like it's a totally different program with him.
Man, whatever people say, I mean, I don't have enough words in the dictionary to describe how great it's been. But whatever people say it is, I hope they're as appreciative and grateful as they should be, because where this program was, after the free zero and they got in all the NCAA problems, and you had Matt Luke. I mean, not just where they had NCAA probation, they weren't relevant nationally at all. And, the attendance was down and the donations were down. And, man, you got to just give Keith Carter, the athletic director, so much credit because, he had to fight a lot of that older guard Ole Miss boosters. He had to really fight them to get Kiffin. And he just said, we're doing this and I don't care what y'all say. And Kiffin's just come in and just brought new life and swagger and been such a good fit with the fan base. And also just playing the modern game of college football. I mentioned the transfer portal thing. Ole Miss, it's so hard for Ole Miss to go toe-to-toe with Bama and LSU and Georgia for these high school seniors going to college. But, when it comes to the transfer game, he just can go pick off these guys. Just come here. We'll coach you up. You'll play in a fun system immediately at an SEC school. And he's just been so forward-thinking with the NIL thing. And Chris Partridge deserves a lot of credit too. His right-hand man's done such a good job with it. But man, it's been unbelievable. I mean, it's been, even the first year when Ole Miss was 4-5 in the regular season and beat Indiana in the bowl, it was the most fun 4-5 season of all time. And so much of college football is like being entertained, and man, it's just been, I can't say enough good words about Lane, and also just really happy for him. I mean, Ole Miss has been a great fit for him in his journey, and you never know with Lane. It's always going to be year to year, especially with how much success he's having. But just thankful for the years Ole Miss has with him. He's been great.
I think he's got the chip on his shoulder that never leaves. For whatever reason, because most of the shit he got himself into was his own doing, right? Like back in the day. So, but the turnaround on the perception of him and what he's done for his because he's like Lane Kiffin's not a bad dude. He just he was young and immature, and he was in the spotlight way too early, probably with some of that job at Tennessee and Oakland. But he's done a tremendous job. I don't think I've ever seen somebody go from just a villain in the SEC, right? Like when he was at Tennessee and everything, and now he's on the same level as Pittman and Beamer. He can't be touched, right? It's a Godfather status.
Yeah, he's and you just mentioned something. People change and evolve as they get older.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, he was a head coach at 34,
35,
and he's a coach's son, and swagger and been around the game. And now you're talking about a 44, 45-year-old man who's, got 3 kids and, trying to raise a family. And
adorable ass dog.
Yeah, and he's just like a lot more. You can tell he says it all the time. He's a lot more grateful, and I'm not trying to get too religious on this thing, but clearly he's a little stronger faith now than he used to have too, and I think that's been great for him. And it's been a godsend for Ole Miss, and I'm just so happy to have him and the exciting brand of football and everything about it. And I'm excited for this year too. I mean, obviously Ole Miss lost a ton, and replacing Matt Corral and everything he meant to the school. I mean, you just can't snap your fingers and do that.
Right.
Especially the Arkansas and the Tennessee games last year. That dude left his soul out in that field, man. I mean, there's no way in hell Ole Miss wins either one of those games without him. And especially when, like, the Tennessee game, their top 3 receivers were out, and he had to carry the ball like 30-something times.
Yeah.
That frame. But
he had like 190 yards rushing, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, just
I was like, I remember looking at the stat line. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now in this game? Because I joined it late. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, I'm literally just so heartbroken for him, that Liz Frank injury the other night. I mean, he went through a tough deal with that draft process, falling all the way to the 3rd round, and Carolina took him, and now he's going to be out for the year. But,
he's got a Liz Frank.
Yeah, he's out. No, he's out for the year.
That sucks, man. He looked good too at camp. He looked really good.
Yeah, it's a really tough deal. I got to know him a little bit, and he was a good, he's a different cultural guy, California guy, but man, just such a tough son of a bitch, man. Just gave so much to Ole Miss. It's just heartbreaking. But football, it's part of the deal. At least he's in the NFL getting paid.
Yeah. So let's start there then. Replacing him, you got Jackson Dart coming in from USC. I think from most reports that he was pretty average in the spring. I mean, look, he probably arrived and just immediately got thrown in. I didn't expect him to look great in the spring.
Yeah, so he looked a little better in the scrimmages lately. He went 12 for 14 and the other one with over 200 yards. But, kind of learning the offense in the spring, and you expect that. I mean, you always take spring with a grain of salt. I thought he looked pretty good this time at USC last year in the air raid. I mean, especially for a true freshman. And you got to think, I mean, Ole Miss, the NIL, they paid him. I mean, I know it's a for real competition. I'm not saying it isn't. Luke Altmaier is a 4-star recruit, got put into an impossible situation against Baylor in that Sugar Bowl. Took no first-team snaps in practice playing Dave Aranda's defense, one of the most complicated schemes. And also, Baylor's defensive line just beat the hell out of Ole Miss up front in that game, too. I mean, it wasn't like I think Ole Miss could have won if crowd play, but it wasn't going to be easy. And so you can't really judge that. And they're giving him a long look in the camp. But I still ultimately I got to see Altmaier start over Dart to believe it. I think it's going to be Dart's job.
He brings in the tight end Michael Trigg with him, which was another fantastic pickup in the portal. My guy, though, Zach Evans from TCU, I thought that was one of the best pickups in all of the transfer portal because that dude, former #1 running back, 5-star recruit, has had his issues off the field. That's why he ended up at TCU out of high school. I think he was going to go to Georgia at one point.
He was going to go to like 3 different schools at one point.
But he kind of corrected his life at TCU and he moves on to Ole Miss. I think if you're looking at like sneaky Heisman picks, Zach Evans.
Yeah, so the thing, what's interesting, so I think Ole Miss's offensive line is going to be good this year too. They got a lot of returning talent. Plus picking up Brooks, the right tackle from Western Kentucky, who was all CUSA, who I think is a plug-and-play guy. I think this running game is going to be really good. And, you look back at last year, you think of Corral, you think high-flying offense. Ole Miss had, I believe, the #1 running offense in the SEC. They were right there if they didn't.
For Arkansas,
Yeah, and so when I think the running game is going to be awesome. And then don't forget about Ulysses Bentley. It was really good at SMU. So you got a 1-2 punch there. That I think is going to be good. You mentioned Trigg. Receiving core turning over a little bit, but Jonathan Mingo, one of those guys that, he's 6'4", 6'5". You look at him, he fills out the jersey. He's got the potential, but he hadn't really broken through yet. Also he had a broken foot last year and was out for a lot of the year. You got some other transfers that I like. I think the offense is going to be fine. I mean, you got Lane Kiffin, whoever plays quarterback, Kiffin's going to coach him up. Look at his whole career. So I don't, when you look at Ole Miss, and you also got to factor in, Ole Miss has a really weak schedule early, like extremely. First 4, Troy, Central Arkansas, at Georgia Tech, Tulsa, before you get Kentucky on October 1st. So,
Jesus.
you got a real light schedule early to kind of figure out some pieces. So, I mean, I feel good about the offense. I really do.
I feel like I've been saying this for a couple weeks now. Like, because I feel like people finally caught on to Hendon Hooker. People finally caught on to KJ Jefferson. People like there's been a couple of these like bigger names that you kind of realize like, and those guys are obviously already in the SEC. They put up numbers in the SEC. But the fact that we're not talking about Zach Evans like at all going into the season, it seems like at all blows my mind. Because you brought up like talk about like the offense is gonna be fine because it's under Kiffin. I've said this like repeatedly this offseason. In his last 10 years as either a coach, as like an OC or a head coach, there's 8 of the 10 years he's had a quarterback throw for 3,000 yards or 30 touchdowns. So he's going to get those numbers. And the year he didn't, he had a running back that put up 32 touchdowns and like 2,300 yards or 1,900 yards, something crazy like that.
Devin
like Evans,
Singletary, who starts the Bills now.
Right. Like, so like, and you brought the SMU transfer. Like, I think he complements him really well. Just the way like his like style running, he's also put up like good production numbers. Like when he was at SMU. At the same time, Kiffin finds his guy and just sticks with it. Like that, he just feeds him repeatedly. I think Evans is going to have a monster year.
No, I do too. The thing with Evans, obviously you mentioned a lot of the off-field stuff, and that's all true. I think Ole Miss having such a weak schedule early and getting off to a good start is going to keep him engaged. Like he may be the kind of guy that, TCU went through a lot last year. And, I know he averaged 7 yards a carry and his yards after contact are spectacular, but I don't know. I don't know him personally. I don't want to say anything bad, but, I feel like he may be the kind of guy, you're going to get his best effort as long as you're winning and contending.
Wait, was TCU, was that when Gary Patterson like quit or was fired and then showed up for work on Monday? It was like, I'm going to help with the defense. He just like stayed around and helped out.
Yeah, that was a weird deal. Now he's an analyst at Texas now. It's crazy.
Unreal.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Defensively, obviously Durkin goes over to Texas A&M.
I love that.
Yeah, you bring in a guy. So I was just doing the research. You bring in a guy from Western Kentucky as the D coordinator.
Well, what happened? The problem was Lane made a great hire bringing his brother back. Chris Kiffin, who was the D-line coach under Freeze and did an awesome job recruiting. So he's the defensive line coach of the Cleveland Browns, Myles Garrett. He took the job to be the Ole Miss defensive coordinator, and he came back for 6 weeks. And, I don't know what happened. No one does. I think it might have something to do with the new college football NIL. But 6 weeks in, he was like, the hell with this. I'm going back to Cleveland to coach Myles Garrett and that D-line. And so Ole Miss – this is after all the coordinator hirings, and so they really didn't, and you bring in the Western Kentucky coach. That is what gives me, I don't know what's going to happen, but I thought DJ Durkin last year, the job he did was spectacular. The last few weeks, Ole Miss shut A&M down, played great against Baylor. Defense was, Mississippi State. Granted, the weather was bad in Starkville, but man, State couldn't do anything on offense in that game. And the improvement on the defense was really the story in the back end of the season. And so that's what if there's concerns, it's the run defense and the defensive coordinator thing. Or, we'll see. But those are the two things I'm concerned about.
Right.
Yeah, you got to replace Sam Williams' production, which is going to
be tough. That's not easy, man. 12.5 sacks. Awesome story and leader. So happy for him. Second-round pick out of, Dallas. His story was crazy. Came from really tough background situation. So, it was just awesome to support him. Also got to replace Chance Campbell, who, although he fell to the 6th round of the Titans, that dude was a monster last year, and he just made plays from day one. He spotted on Malik Cunningham week 1, shut him down in that Louisville game, and he was great all year. So got a few, Kiffin shocking with the transfer portal, but keep an eye on Troy Brown, all MAC for 3 years, coming from Central Michigan. Kind of a smaller linebacker, though. He's about 220. He can run a little bit. But, the tackling in the MAC and the SEC, obviously a different game. But a lot of hopes for him. And then a lot of returning talent in the secondary, led by Otis Reese, AJ Finley, and DeAndre Prince. Feel good about the secondary. D-line looks like it's added depth. You got Jared Ivey from Georgia Tech. You brought Pegues home from Auburn, really big guy. Yeah, Cedric Johnson had a good year last year, 6.5 sacks. So, on paper, it looks solid, but you still got a defense that allowed 197 yards rushing a game last year. And, Ole Miss runs a modern spread defense. They're designed to stop spread offenses. They play 5-6 DBs all the time.
Right.
Go with the lighter boxes. And so the run defense thing, concerning, and then the new defensive coordinator, we'll see. Those are definitely, if there were concerns, that's what I got.
You look at the schedule, and I'm excited about the Georgia Tech game just because living in Atlanta, it'll be fun to see an actual team come into that stadium. That's like fun to
cool
watch.
Stadium, from what I've heard. I've heard a lot of people like Bobby Dodd. I heard it's cool.
I fucking love Bobby Dodd. You're gassing me up right now because it's like my favorite stadium outside. It's kind of a shithole because it's from like 1920 or something like that. Like they still have like troughs like in the men's rooms, like that kind of stuff. But it's like the setting is awesome. The setting's awesome, and you guys should get a win there too. But is there any game on this schedule you look at it and where it's like, okay, it's not a must win, but if we win this game, it can kind of like, be the catalyst to going through the rest of the year and kind of like slingshot you to like a 9-10 win finish. Or on the other side,
I think that Kentucky game on October 1st, just the way the schedule sets up. Because
okay.
you've got 4 games. Like, you never want to say, like, easy. You don't want to assume it because Troy, we've seen fight people before. And Tulsa got sticky a little bit last year. But still, you lose any of those games, you're shocked, regardless of that.
Right.
So, hypothetically, we'll say you're 4-0 when Kentucky comes to Oxford on October 1st. A lot of stuff with Kentucky this year is interesting to me. Will Levis is like a type of dude. He looks the part. He's tall. He's got a big arm. But the production, hadn't really matched the talent. So I'm not totally sold yet. I know Wan'Dale Robinson was spectacular last year, and they have a great running back in Rodriguez who's going to be out the first few games, but should be back by Oxford. But that Kentucky game at home, and I think Ole Miss should be able to win it. I don't get me wrong. I know Kentucky's hyped this year, but I'm not totally buying it. But if you win that Kentucky game, you're 5-0. Then you go to Vandy, who sucks, and then you get Auburn coming in on October 15th. Auburn's over/under 5.5 wins. The thing with Auburn this year, I mean, you're talking about the most volatile program year in, year out in the SEC. No different this year. But man, a lot of people transferred out. There's a lot of weird stuff going on with Harsin. Their quarterback situation's a mess. I mean, if it starts going bad early at Auburn, it could go real bad. And so I don't want to like hypothetically come on here and say there's a chance Ole Miss could be 7-0 and they go to Baton Rouge October 22nd. But there is a shot. So you're looking at, if you win that Kentucky game and get it rolling like that, I mean, you're talking 6-1, 7-0 heading to Baton Rouge on October 22nd. But then at LSU, at A&M, bye week, Bama, at Arkansas, 4 in a row. I mean,
that's fun. Then the Egg Bowl.
Then the Egg Bowl. So bloody murder.
Honestly, at least your concerns. Also, Mintzy, I got to play devil's advocate here, or I guess Auburn Jesus advocate, probably a better way to phrase it. But like all the things you said about Auburn are accurate. And it's all the reasons why they're probably going to win 10 games this year. Because
they could. No, they definitely they could. The quarterback thing. I mean, unless the Ashford kid from Oregon that's from Bama originally, that's from Hoover or whatever, unless he ends up being good, I don't have any faith in Calzada or Finley at all.
Calzada's the third string, they said today.
Yeah, you see that Oxford that film last year when he started?
I'm a Bama fan, so sadly I saw his film from college.
Oh yeah, he played out his ass that one night. But I don't know. I think that's the big thing. But we'll see. You never know with Auburn. But it just the situation, the season could be really, really good before the murder stretched the end. The Bama game getting moved from late September.
Yeah, I was wondering when you were going to get that game.
I honestly don't like it. I think Ole Miss beat Bama those 2 years. You want to catch them early usually.
Yeah.
As they're figuring it out. But
when you were listing off the names, I was like, oh, now at 5-0, they must have Bama next week. And then it was like 7-0, like that must have Bama. Like way deep in season.
That's what. So I was looking at I use y'all sportsbook, Barstool sportsbook. The over/under is 8, and I'm looking at the schedule and I'm like, okay, like you said, conceivably I could easily, and no slight to Kentucky, but it's at home for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And those other 5 games are I'm pretty sure layups for you. So you're 6-0 going to that Auburn game at home, and Auburn beat Ole Miss last year, right? So there's a little bit of revenge on the mind. You could conceivably be 1 away from the over/under after that Auburn game with 5 games left and not hit the over/under. So
it's going to be real weird, too, with the college football ranking system. Ole Miss is going to be ranked, because all these other teams are going to be dropping games. Ole Miss could be ranked extremely high when they go to LSU. If they're 7-0, they could be like number 6 or 7 and still not really know what they are. They could be
really
just
good point.
And so that could be a something to watch out for. So, but look, I'm excited. I'm going in. I'm just saying, like as a fan, 8-4 here is successful for sure.
Right.
Like when you really look at it, 10 wins is. I mean, you're in the SEC. That's not going to happen very often. That's why it's happened once. I think as long as you win 8, you keep the momentum in the program rolling forward. I think 7-5, like little step back, but not the end of the world. 6-6 or less is bad, and especially with the schedule being so weak early. So I think as a fan, you go in, you say hopefully Ole Miss wins 8, and anything beyond that's kind of gravy. And you want to keep winning the Egg Bowl, obviously, especially with it being in Oxford.
I got a couple over the 8 then.
Man, I was looking at it. If I could have found, I'd go over 7.5. At 8, I'd pass.
Yeah.
I think 7.5. If you can get that number, I think the over's good. But I just over 8, you got to get to 9's tough, man. I mean, and also when you look at the history, Ole Miss's history in Fayetteville is, I mean, there are a lot of words for it, and none of them are good. I mean, it's been really, really rough through the years. Winning at Arkansas, it's never going to be easy in Death Valley. At A&M, the Mississippi schools have had a lot of success against A&M the last few years, though. It's been a real thing, but it's still going to be on the road, Halloween weekend, no joke. Bama, I just over 8, you got to get to 9 to get there. I think that's a stretch. So I think
there's going to be so many young 19-year-old dudes named Gavin dressed up that weekend as Army men. And it's going to be very difficult to walk into that stadium. No, so I got one of the reasons we wanted to have you on here is because we know you're kind of like us, a big gambling guy. I didn't know you were a poker guy.
Oh yeah,
you were in a tournament. How'd the tournament end up? Because I know you were there with Jeremy Pruitt of all people.
Yeah, Pruitt did better than me, man. Pruitt made day 2 and cashed in the $1,100 event. He had a bunch of chips.
I love that Pruitt was in
pretty good. He made it for. I think I got there were 415 people. I got like 90th or 100th, and he got top 20. So. Hey, there you go, man. He's got to do something, while he's coaching jail or whatever.
I was dying, because it was. I didn't know that you played, because I used to play like a bunch, and I remember looking. I was like, oh, cool, because we'd been talking about trying to get you on, and then you just casually yeah, Jeremy Pruitt's out here. I'm like, what the fuck? It was just could not have been more casual. Okay, so here's my question for you. We've been talking about this will be my last serious question, then we'll get into the good stuff. But look, we've been looking at over-unders and moving at player props, all this sorts of stuff. If there's an over-under that you are dead set on, what is your lock, or any bet for the college football season? What is your lock?
Okay, I mean, lock. I hate the term lock. It's just.
I'm glad I brought it up.
Historically, it's rough. So I've got a few running around. I actually think UCLA is going to be good this year, and I like they're 10-1 to win the Pac-12, and I have questions about all 3: USC, Oregon, and Utah. I know Utah won it last year, but they're almost gone from underrated to overrated. Oregon's switching coaches. We'll see how Bo Nix does there. And USC's the flashy thing with Lincoln Riley, but I still got to see, in the trenches. And UCLA's got, DTR's back for his 5th year. Charbonnet's really good running back. And, I thought last year they lost a few really close games and still were 8-4. So I think they got some value at 10-1, if you're looking at a value shot, because I think the top teams are a little weaker in the Pac-12. So that's kind of what I've been giving out. I'm really looking forward to seeing John Rice Plumlee start at Central Florida and Malzahn's offense. Obviously, him being a former Ole Miss guy, and so will I. Just really want the best for him. I'm also good friends with SJ Tuohy's part of that athletic department, so I'm always talking to him. Yeah. And he's hyped about that team and kind of got me in my ear. So I'm looking forward to that. They're plus 350 to win the AAC.
I saw that,
May not the best odds, but, man, I think Plumlee with you look at those Malzahn teams when he had Nick Marshall and when he has those running quarterbacks, man, really fits with that scheme a lot better than Taylor Gabriel did before he got hurt last year, or Dylan Gabriel did before he got hurt last year. So I'm kind of watching them pretty close, but the LSU one at 6.5, I've been looking at I know it's their schedule's a lot of toss-ups, but I think 7-5 or maybe 8-4 for LSU. Just because I like what I said about the transfers. And also, I just think I think the coaching staff upgrade is so big, from where they were. They were just such a mess the last 2 years with the discipline in the program, the attrition, and all that. And I think House is a pretty good defensive coordinator from what I'm, the stuff I've heard about him. His performance at Kentucky under Stoops is good when he was their defensive coordinator. And I'm not sitting here saying LSU's going to set the world on fire, but I think 6.5. You can go over there, and that's a number I'm looking at too.
I found 2 today that I got to get off my chest because I thought they were I looked into the numbers way too much like I always do, and I thought it was pretty I'm really upset that you don't like the word lock because I just realized I spent way too long making a graphic today for SDS that says Dwayne the Lock Johnson with my face on it, so now I have to delete all those.
Yeah, it's just me. Well, it's gambling's you get all this info and you make an educated guess all the info you got. But, I just feel historically, whenever I've said the term lock, I've just gotten destroyed. So
it never goes over well. But,
no, that's
but
what
let
I'm saying.
me say this though. The Bryce, so the 2 quarterback props, like they were looking at the player totals this year. Bryce Young at 38.69, I think it is. Like for his passing yards in the regular season. Last year, Bama had, for the first time ever, they had more pass attempts in a season than rush attempts. They had 6 games where they had more pass attempts than rush attempts. It's never happened for Saban. They had 4 games they were like under 100 yards rushing, which in comparison to the 10 years total prior happened 3 times. So he was airing out like all the time. He had 147 more attempts than any other player in program history, and he still only beat that number by 40 yards.
Man,
I feel like the unders.
They've also got, Bama's got studs at receiver because they always do, but it is a little unproven going in this year.
Yeah.
And then also Gibbs, man, that running back for Georgia Tech is gonna be.
That's you didn't have it all last year, so.
Yeah, no, they did last year. They didn't have that bell cow that we're used to. So I
like that bet.
I hate betting the under, but at the same time,
I actually think there's more value when you find props. It's like the gambler instinct. You want to bet these overs, but you find unders, it's good. There's always more value in unders because people don't like taking them. And then, let's be honest. I mean, you're free rolling injuries too. If you've got the under, if somebody goes down for 2 weeks, you're good. So
right.
I don't know. I don't hate your logic there at all. I mean, they're going to, and also Bama this year is going to kick the hell out of so many people that, they're going to be up running the ball a lot too late.
Right. They just threw it nonstop last year. Tyler, what else you got? Because I have like the rapid fire stuff. That's it.
So I got 2 questions for you, and then I'll let Chris.
Yeah, if y'all got any Barstool questions, fire away too.
Yeah. I was gonna say. So, what were you doing? Like, how were you discovered at Barstool?
Well, I was working for ESPN Baton Rouge, which carries the LSU flagship, Guaranteed Media, and I actually had a video go viral of me fired up yelling the hottie toddy at the TV after Ole Miss beat Kentucky in overtime 2 years ago when Matt Corral hit Elijah Moore for a touchdown. Kentucky's kick. So it was at overtime. Kentucky scored and missed the extra point. And then Ole Miss scored and won. And there's a video of me yelling the hottie toddy after Kiffin's first win that, it was like a funny video, but I didn't think anything of. And that Saturday night, it goes by, and it's whatever. It's just like some T-Bob Hebert, who I'm close friends with, retweeted it. And that Sunday morning, I'm driving to Natchez, Mississippi, to do the Sunday morning NFL show with Jimmy Ott, who I worked with, and Rohan Davey, the former LSU quarterback, who, by the way, I highly recommend if you want a fun guest to talk football with, get him on. He's unbelievable.
You still got those long-ass fingernails?
Yeah, and he's just so smart. His football IQ, he played for Jimbo and Saban and Belichick. Just
that's cool.
Unbelievable. Just great character, but knows the game, just all that. Just great. So anyway, I'm driving to Natchez, and my phone goes off like a nuclear bomb. And it's Dave Portnoy tweeting that SEC football hits different. It's my dumbass yelling the hottie toddy at the TV. And I'm just like, wow, what's going on here? And then I park and I look down and Dave Portnoy's followed me on Twitter. Okay. And then I got
how familiar?
I got a DM from Dave Portnoy. It's like, is that you on that video? And I said, well, damn right, that's me. I said, we're ready for you to come work for us at Barstool Sports. No interview, nothing. It's like that. And he said, I talked to him like 2 days ago. Two days later, he calls me and I say hello. And the first thing he says to me is like, your voice sounds exactly how I hoped it would with my southern drawl. And, I guess I definitely got one. Right. And he goes, listen, I don't know everything about life. That's for sure. He goes, but I know how to find talent. And you're my guy. And I was just like, what is going on?
That's awesome.
And then he says, I'm going to give you the option of moving up here to New York and working in the main office or staying in the South. We'll pay you more if you come to New York, but it's in your court. Think about it. And I thought about it for a day or two. At first, I was like, oh, man, I could still work down in the South and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wait, that's completely the wrong attitude. I grinded for 4 years in Bossier City before ESPN Baton Rouge. I was like, I didn't grind this hard to get this opportunity to not give myself the best chance. And so I spent one night in my whole life in New York. And, I moved up here the Halloween weekend of 2020, like 4 weeks later. And I guess I've been here almost 2 years now. And, I definitely don't think and I still obviously have a long way to go. I'm not like a made guy or anything, but I've done a lot better in this company because I've been in that office, building relationships and just being – Barstool is such a unique place. If you're not in the office in that inertia, we have like a lot of people that work around the country that they're just not involved in that day-to-day, which is so much part of it, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. And you've seen your personal brand there just explode over the last, whether it was the championship run for Ole Miss baseball.
No, I still don't believe that happened.
That's just like an insane timing thing, right?
Man, yeah. And Mississippi State winning it last year for Walker. And I was in Omaha last year watching State win it. And Ole Miss wins it. Both have never won it in school history.
It's insane.
Yeah.
They went back to back. I got real lucky though. Like there were so many people that like were Barstool fans that like wanted this job. I knew when I got this job, I was like, man, I kind of hit the lotto on this. But I'm the first person that, really with Louisiana ties in there. And I lived in New Orleans 5 years. I'm a big Saints fan, big NOLA food, music, culture fan.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, man, I get to be the New Orleans guy for Barstool with everything that goes with that. I was like,
yeah,
that's just a gold mine of content. And, I have a gambling background from poker, like you mentioned, and a sports radio background. And so I feel like through all that life experience, I feel like I know what works pretty good. So I honestly – I hadn't really been nervous much during this job. I just feel like this, I had 5 years of sports radio experience coming in and the high stakes poker background. And I feel like that whole background, has been a great fit for this job.
Real quick before he says, like Tyler gets the last question, I will say genuinely, I mean this is like one of the things I've always tried to do, and like to my mom's peril, she hates it because just be like as transparent as possible all the time and all that kind of stuff. I think it like comes off as like super genuine. And also, your shit. It's nice to, I fire a shot across the bow. But it's nice to have somebody like talking college football and not yelling at me like fucking Brandon Walker, which we'll get into in a second. But I mean, it really is like, I mean, it was been fun talking actual like ball with you. So.
Oh, I appreciate it. Well, I had a 3-hour radio show for 4 years every day. Yeah. And I mean, I didn't have any experience when I started. I was on the air in Shreveport and Bossier City, Louisiana. No, not like a big station or anything. Right. And I mean, I sucked the first 9 months, man. I remember I got on there the first day and I had like 12 pages of notes and I was talking so fast and so nervous. I had to get my buddy on the phone line like 6 minutes into the show, freaking 3-hour show my first day. But when you do something that much, I mean, 3 hours a day for 4 years, I got just more and more experience. And, I kind of made it my own brand. We were the only fantasy hour in Louisiana. And I taught gambling and I did the high school and college. And then, I'd even talk about, music festivals or restaurants, whatever, man. You fill 3 hours a day, And I think I just got so much experience doing 4 years, 3 hours a day, and I think that kind of honed me. And, and I think that's been a big part of it. But I've always loved to gamble. I've been betting on football way, I'm 39 now, but way over, over 20 years for sure. And so I feel like, I'm not, and I could never beat it for a living. I don't claim like I'm that good, but I'd say I know more than most at least.
All right, I'll do one more, Chris, and then you can finish us with the rapid fire questions.
Got you.
Dave Portnoy recently dubbed you the King of the South. I kind of feel like Barstool's missing out on like the SEC thing. Like every time, like I feel like if I want to tune in and hear about SEC football, it's not Barstool, right? There's a lot of Michigan, Ohio State, Wisconsin, and a lot of pro sports. So you, as the King of the South, between you and Megan making money and a couple
of these, Casey too.
Yeah, and Casey, and Walker, can we get the SEC thing going?
Yeah, I mean, so like I'm gonna try to start. I'll probably be doing like a lot more Twitter Spaces soon this fall. I mean, I pitched an idea the other day that like I want an hour-long SEC show that's just like we can interact with all our Barstool SEC accounts that are so big on Twitter. If we did that, it wouldn't be a gambling show because you can't do that with the college. But I literally pitched that the other day, so hopefully people.
No brainer, man.
If you're listening,
I hate it when it happens
because we've got we've got Unnecessary Roughness, which is a big college football pod with Walker and Casey. Walker has a football show. We have the college football show every Saturday, which is really good. And then they've got Pick'em, the gambling show with Dave, Big Cat, and Rico. But I do feel like what you're saying, what we're missing is like a specific SEC show. So, that's what I think too. I fired it. And, I think we're going to continue growing in the South. The sportsbook apps, we're in Louisiana, we're in Tennessee. So we're in a couple of SEC states. I wish Mississippi'd figured it out, man. That'd be great for Walker and me. Because you can bet live in the Penn casinos in Mississippi, but you can't do it online. Seems very short-sighted. Like if you're going to embrace one, just like
seems the opposite that you could do it on the internet, and then you could do it in person, which is very odd.
Yeah, but it's like nobody wants to drive all the way up to Tunica, or I don't know. I just think they need to figure it out. But it's growing. I think we're going to continue to do more and more SEC stuff, and They hadn't announced the college football show where it's going this year, so I don't want to spoil it. But be on the lookout for possibly a couple Southern dates. I'll leave it at that.
Cool.
And I think we're going to continue to do more and more SEC stuff. And this fall I'll be running around the South. I'll be a mix of up here in New York and New Jersey on gambling streams. But I'm also, I'm going to New Orleans, like I said, for LSU, Florida State, and I'll be in Oxford for Ole Miss, Kentucky, and I've got a few more Southern dates. And I'll be at Ole Miss, LSU, and Baton Rouge too. So I'll be running around the South a good bit, and you're gonna definitely be seeing some South content.
Cool.
Good deal, man. All right. Well, we got just a quick rapid fire questions here. It's a 2-minute drill. We'll get you wrapped up here and keep up with the score. Are you ready?
I'm hell yeah, damn right.
I was going to say, what a fucking missed opportunity that was about to be. Okay. All right. First question. Your favorite show to binge on Netflix in the off season? Gilmore Girls. Say it.
Your favorite what? I'm sorry, I made froze.
Favorite show to binge on or stream whatever, like on Netflix, Hulu, all that kind of stuff.
I watch HBO Max, but I was a Psycho Sopranos fan.
Okay, like that. Better moment for you, okay? When all your dreams kind of came true with that text from Dave, or Tim Elko hitting any of the grand slams on one leg 2 years ago.
Man, the Elko stuff was awesome, especially Tim and I are really close too.
Yeah.
We've gotten to be good. We did church together, and he's a very close friend of mine, or become that. But I still got to say the Dave thing, allowed all that to be awesome. So I'm going to say the Dave thing. But then the other one, I got 75th in the World Series main in 2011, and that was.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that was pretty one of the high moments too.
Holy shit!
I was good at poker. I was top 200 in the world at poker for a while. I was good, man.
So I paid for my last senior year with her from online poker. I didn't do that. I didn't know that at all, dude.
Yeah. I got 75th in 2011 and 327th in 2018. So I'm like 2 for 7 lifetime. But
holy shit! Okay,
that 75th in the main was high up on the life moments, though. It was like late day 6. It was getting balls deep in that thing. It was getting real serious.
Damn.
Oh, man. We had a bunch of my buddies. We had a home game in high school, and they went out there as soon as they turned 21. I get a text from him. He's like, "Hey, man, are you near your computer?" I'm like, "What's up?" And he's like, "I'm at the final table. I'm seated next to Helmuth." I was like, "What?" It's like 2007. He ended up finishing second, and then
damn,
not in the main event.
This year was nuts. They put me and Phil Ivey were the featured table of the main day 1 this year.
That's awesome.
I don't think it was a coincidence either, man. They act like, oh, we've sat by each other, but like they were trying to get Barstool.
Yeah.
There, I think.
Yeah.
But
all right.
It was funny. Ivey didn't know what Barstool was. And he was like, why the hell do all these people care about me?
Bro, but
that's funny.
That's awesome. All right, go-to order at Chick-fil-A.
Oh man. Okay. Right now I'm currently on day 22 watching Sugar. So the order's more boring right now. But the real order would be a spicy chicken sandwich, the spicy deluxe chicken sandwich without the tomatoes, and waffle fries and an unsweet tea. But the current order is like the 12-pack of grilled chicken nuggets with the buffalo sauce because I have sugar in it.
We're talking about gambling and poker, unsweet tea. Like man, I'm
a big guy, man. I gotta watch the damn, I got a lot going for me, but I'm a one of them.
2 more for you. Who is angrier, Nick Saban after a loss or Brandon Walker every fucking day he wakes up?
Saban only loses once a year tops, and Walker's always angry. So I'm gonna say Walker.
Okay, I like that. All right.
Oh, Walker, we got it. We went at it. We went pretty hard Friday. We kind of. It's just like I'm a pretty good-natured, positive dude, but like when you take that many shots, there's like a point where you're like, I'm not gonna put up with this,
Yeah. If you need any help, just ever if you want me to come, just tag me in. I'm in. I love it.
No, yeah. Did you see the clip last year of me with the cowbell? With them?
No, but
the Egg Bowl stream last year. You need to see this on YouTube. When State, right before the half, they dropped 2 passes and then they missed a field goal before the half.
Yeah.
And I grabbed Walker's cowbell and started ringing it on the screen. And he lost his mind.
I think I remember that.
I had people in the Ole Miss athletic department texting me the next day, like, "Man, I watched that 12 times. That was the funniest thing they've ever seen." But it's on YouTube. It's really fun.
All right. My last question. This is my most prized possession in my little background here. Is these 2 things, okay? It's a Morgan Freeman bobblehead with Ole Miss, and then this beautiful picture up here. So if we end up running into you, which we will, at one of these Ole Miss games, will you not only sign it, but also, let us like punch Brandon Walker in the face while we're there, just, if you don't mind, real quick.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, go for it. Walker probably won't be at the Ole Miss game, but but yeah, of course, love to. Morgan Freeman's been a great supporter of Ole Miss too.
He's the best.
Ole Miss basketball from Clarksdale. Just great supporter of the school overall. Just good dude, and of course, whatever I can do, man. I'm looking forward to. Like I said, I'll be at Kentucky October 1st. I'll be in Baton Rouge October 22nd. The Bama game November 12th will be like a last minute. Do I think Ole Miss is win? Is Ole Miss's season going good? I'll be debating all that.
Never know. Okay, so serious last question here though, is I was going to ask what's faster, offense or Jimbo talking, but I think a lot of people think that Lane might be the next guy at Bama because of Saban, whatever, and like the success he's had at Ole Miss. What I was saying earlier though about the chip on his shoulder, I think that Kiffin has a genuine. Like, I think he loves Oxford, for one, and what he's been able to build there and building as his own. How long do you see him staying in Oxford?
Well, I think Ole Miss caught a big break that Cristobal wanted to go to Miami last year because I think Lane was the next option. I think he'd have taken Miami. I really do. And I'm a realistic fan, though. Like Lane obviously lived down there when he was coaching Florida Atlantic, and that's a pretty favorable situation if you can get money behind the program, which Cristobal's done. Cristobal has the relationships to do that. So I was really worried about that whole situation. But when you look around at like other jobs, I mean, like he ain't leaving for Auburn. I know their fans are delusional and think he might, but he would.
Fucking outrageous.
And LSU, like I think he would have left for LSU, but LSU didn't even. Scott Woodward didn't even look at him. And Woodward's like, look at the hires he makes. He always makes those buttoned up, really big hires. Yeah. So the thing is, I mean, I think he's going to be there a couple more years. But I do think it's going to be touch and go every year. And I also think the way Lane relies on the transfer portal, it's kind of a year-to-year thing. Okay. But I don't know. I feel it'd have to be the right job. And, like, what is that right now? He didn't get along. He didn't think about him and Scott Strickland, the Florida AD. I don't know. There's something there. So he didn't get considered for the Florida job. Like what job? You're kind of running out of jobs because, like, we've seen what's happened to West Coast football. I mean, I think he could have had a lot of success at Oregon, but, you're seeing everybody from California come play in the SEC now, and they're not putting the money, and Pac-12's lagging so far behind. I mean, that's why you see Kiffin and Leach in the SEC. Yeah. So, like, I mean, what jobs? Like, I mean, Bama obviously leads for that, but, like, you're kind of running out of jobs at this point.
Yeah. Mintzy, this is great, man. I'm going to add this up, and it's going to be the exact score of 69 points, which is very nice. This has been awesome, man. This has been awesome.
Thank y'all for having me. I followed y'all for a long time, and I appreciate y'all having me on the podcast, and I'd love to come back sometime.
Yeah, I gotta admit something. I gotta show you this real quick before I let you go. So this was earlier this year. You had tweeted.
Oh yeah, that's a funny one. Yeah.
Yeah, and you said genius move. Big Cat tweeted. So my most liked tweet ever. I zoomed in on your screen. You weren't.
Oh yeah.
And I said it would also appear Mintzy isn't even logged into his computer, and Big Cat retweeted it, and it went off. Like
oh yeah.
So I have to apologize.
Stuff. It's like it's just such a crazy, funny environment, man. It's you got to live by the motto. There's a great motto. It's like don't take yourself too seriously, but take what you do seriously, and that's what I live by here. Like you're gonna get. I'm the butt of jokes every day, and I just laugh at it. You just got to know that that's what you're signing up for. When you work for this company, there's a public eye shining on you. I mean, Dave Portnoy dragged me through the Twitter street, like Omaha 2021 when I lost like 8 college baseball bets in a row, and he showed up in the Arkansas gear that one day. But that's what you sign up for at Barstool. Yeah. I'm 39 now. Like, I've been through a lot in life. I went back to school when I was 31 and worked up from Bossier to Baton Rouge to here. So, if I have to take public criticism from Dave Portnoy and Barstool Sports, well, then so be it. Let's roll. It's part of it.
That's awesome, man.
Well, we love following you, man.
Well, yeah, thanks. Well, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Barstool Mintzy, and love to come back sometime.
Sounds good, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Well, that was fun.
All right, man. That was great. We have got to get Mintzy on later this year. Talk a little bit more Ole Miss.
He's great, man. He really, really knew his shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised. You know, I've heard him talk on a couple of those gambling shows that they put on, and he knows what he's talking about. Of course, Portnoy always, you know, fucks with him, but
Yeah,
it's
I
funny.
know. Also, like you know those moments you have that like you feel awkward about, and then they'll just linger with you for like a week to possibly 7 years. That's going to be the thing with the shark photo because I have no idea why I brought that down like show and tell to show him at all. That wasn't part of the question.
Okay. All right. Well, that's gonna be the podcast. We've been recording for an hour 20. So it was long. We kept Mintzy for an hour, dude. I feel bad. I'm gonna have to send him a text.
Yeah, that was good, man. That was a lot of fun though.
All right. Well, we will be getting last but not least later this week. Bama.
Oh yeah, Thursday. We get Bama, and then we'll do a full preview of Nebraska Northwestern. We're going to break down how all 23 combined points are going to be scored in that game.
Love it.
Yes. All right. I got to pee.
All righty.
See you later.
Thanks, guys.